On August 15th, the Ministry of Education and Science of Ukraine presented on its website a draft proposal for the updating of Ukrainian orthography. This draft was prepared by a special commission composed of linguists, writers, and other specialists, and it has now been submitted for public discussion. The question of Ukrainian orthography in Ukraine is a highly emotional one for Ukrainians because of the history of Russian-imposed suppression of the Ukrainian language. Ukrainians were able to standardize their orthography for the first time only in 1928 in Kharkiv, and this orthography was accepted in Soviet Ukraine and in Western Ukraine under Polish rule. However, in the 1930s, the Stalinist regime annulled this orthography, executed most of the scholars who had prepared it, and introduced new rules in order to align the Ukrainian language as much as possible with the Russian language. Several generations of Ukrainians in Ukraine were taught this Stalinist orthography and consider it to be, quote-unquote, natural.
Лякають людей, що це буде інша мова, що це там таке, нічого там страшного не буде.
The orthography that is currently being used in Ukraine was established in 1990. It is a modified version of the Stalinist orthography, but it has some elements of the Kharkiv orthography. Those who want to speak a more traditional, not Russified Ukrainian language do not find the 1990 orthography satisfactory. But some people who learned the old orthography, as well as some Russian speakers, oppose any changes to the orthography and have reacted negatively to the introduction of the new draft. The more radical members of the new Orthography Commission had proposed a complete return to the Kharkiv orthography. This orthography is still used by many Ukrainians in the diaspora, but the majority of the Commission's members opted for a compromise. In certain cases, both the Kharkiv spelling and the current spelling of a given word will be accepted as correct. Overall, however, the updated orthography is seen by most specialists as a return to the more native traditions of the Ukrainian language. That is, those traditions that have been for decades suppressed by the process of forced Russification.
Якісь моменти мені теж ріжуть слух, але люди до всього звикають. Ось дітки підуть, які в перший клас, і будуть ось так само вивчати і той проєкт, і катедру, і для них ці слова вже будуть органічними.
The final version of the updated Ukrainian orthography is still to be determined by specialists. In the meantime, members of the wider public can, until September 15th, send the Ministry of Education and Science their comments and suggestions about it. I'm Tania Stech, and this was Ukraine in the News.
Канал 1+1 тепер доступний на Bell International Programming.